Beloved, let us take this moment in time to deal with the subject that often is misunderstood, and that is the resurrection of Jesus the Christ. And more than often, it is referred to as the resurrection of this one man to the realization of who and what he was as the Son of God. But indeed, my friends, if you realize that the resurrection refers to each of us, as well as to all of us, as the conclusion of a period of life called the carnal, or humanity, into the divine or divinity of each of us. We are grateful to, beloved Jesus, who showed us the way, the truth, and the life of this phenomenal activity called the resurrection. And resurrection simply means the resurrected, which means that it's the movement of consciousness into another aspect, another part of ourselves, of our divine selves. Now you'll remember that the resurrection refers to the individualization of the Christ self. And the Christ self is a big word simply meaning the reality of ourselves as sons of the universe, as daughters of the cosmos. And we have a privilege to realize that all the things that beloved Jesus did, that beloved Krishna did, that beloved Muhammad alayhi salam did, and all the other great beings and powers and the human expressions of truth did, is relating to us as individual realizations of the truth that will set us free. We no longer speak in terms of the glorification of one man or one entity as being the phenomenal truth. But all of this, we have to look further and deeper into the truth that all of us are indeed the inheritors of the universe, the universal first cause, which is God, the good, omnipotent. And so let us speak of the resurrection itself, and what actually does that mean? To resurrect means to be born again, to do again, to realize again our power, to realize the truth within us that will eventually set us free from all of the activities that we have thought to be the human. The resurrection is a consciousness that takes place not as a phenomenal activity outside of ourselves, but as a movement of consciousness within ourselves. We are made to be the gods we were intended to be from the beginning. I think our friend, beloved Jesus, the Christ, puts it very plainly as he speaks in the 17th chapter of Luke, where he says, the kingdom of God is within you. All of his message had to do with the kingdom within you. It's like a mustard seed that grows from a little seed and then into a phenomenal tree, a big tree, where all the branches are spreading out and engulfing the universal whole. So everything that we find in the Bible, in the Quran, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Gita, and all the other great books point to the realization of the truth within you, within me, within our consciousness, that really is not a phenomenon that takes place outside of us, but it grows from within ourselves out into the outer world. So the resurrection is simply a natural phenomenon that takes place once we realize that we too are the sons and daughters of the universe, the sons and daughters of God, as it were. And so interested in that, the resurrection takes place not so much from the grave in the ground, but the grave of thought and consciousness, where we feel that we have allowed a reality to be killed or destroyed. It can never be destroyed. It is simply waiting for us to remove ourselves from the scenario in order to allow the consciousness of good to arise from within us. It naturally takes place once you begin to realize who and what you are as sons and daughters of the universe. And that perfect example is given by beloved Jesus again, when he said, I am the resurrection and the life. He who comes up to me shall never know death. Death is a phenomenon, beloved, that we have to get rid of, because there is no such thing as death in the universe. God did not create death. God created only life. And life is the ever-expanding, ever-expansive consciousness within us. If we would let go and let God, we'd find that we would naturally move into this reality that we call the self, or the Christ self, the I am within you. And it is truly that resurrection, resurrect to arise again, that we go through. In fact, almost each night when we are asleep, that is a restful sleep, a good sleep, we are being resurrected into a reality, a new consciousness. But the truth of our being is that out of the crud of life and the crud of the experience of the earth, of lack and limitation, of condemnation, criticism, and judgment, all of these things, we move out of that consciousness into the reality of who and what we are as sons of the universe, as daughters of the cosmos. And we can do this once we realize, once you take hold of yourself as the indivisible, as the most powerful, as the all-good, as the all-perfect sons and daughters of the universe, then you too begin the process. When you know the truth, that will set you free. And so we find that beloved Jesus, beloved Muhammad, alayhi salam, beloved Krishna, and the Buddha, all of these elevated souls realized the truth that was within them. And I say elevated because they had done much study on themselves for many lifetimes, many hundreds of lifetimes, perhaps thousands of lifetimes, had come to the reality that they are not just sons of the earth, but they are sons and daughters of the universe itself, that they are unconquerable, that they are infinite, indivisible, and even invisible to that human thought of lack and limitation, of condemnation, criticism, and judgment. And they had come into the forgiving power of the wholeness of life. And they had to do this first of all before they entered into that holy place that we call the kingdom of God, which is within them. They had to go through the process of forgiveness. And forgiveness, my friends, is so important for us to understand. Beginning now, that forgiving process is a forgiving all of the lack and limitation, the condemnation, the criticism, the judgment that we have caused to be a part of ourselves over the lifetimes. To absolutely forgive ourselves and to forgive life itself for our depravity that we put upon it. And the forgiving process begins simply with the I am. I am the forgiving love of Jesus Christ. I am the forgiving love of Buddha. I am the forgiving love of the cosmos. I am the forgiving love of God. And I am set free. You begin to set yourself free, because God does not see anything to forgive, because you forgive only yourself, because you have caused the problems to come upon yourself. You are the only one who can release yourself from the problems, the concerns, the condemnations, the criticisms, and the judgments. So when you take the decree, I am the forgiving love of the cosmos, I am the forgiving love of Jesus Christ, I am the forgiving love of the Buddha, I am the forgiving love of all that is, was, and ever shall be. And I set myself free, free, free from all lack and limitation, all condemnation and criticism and judgment. I am free. And as you begin to release yourself, you'll find that you begin to release all your world and worlds from all that you may have thought, said, or done against the freedom that you truly are. And so forgiveness becomes most important, friends, because it not only covers what you have done yesterday or a few days before or this lifetime, but all the lifetimes in which you have lived. Forgiveness becomes the high point in which you come to the reality that it is you who forgives yourself and none other, because God cannot forgive you, by the way. Why can't God forgive you? Because God has not seen you in anything less than perfection in which He created you. So the forgiving love of Jesus Christ, the forgiving love of the Buddha, becomes the individual in which you express yourself the same as they did. I am the cosmic Christ law of forgiveness and consuming flame of all inharmonious action in human consciousness. I am the cosmic Christ law of forgiveness and consuming flame of all inharmonious action in human consciousness. And that, my friends, covers the waterfront. You forgive everything you have ever done in this lifetime, in past lifetimes, and in lifetimes before. And you have lived many hundreds and even thousands of lifetimes. And so you are forgiving all of this that you have caused yourself to fall under, that hypnotic thing that we call unforgiveness. You forgive yourself. And as you do so, you forgive all in your life, your home, your affairs, your world, in the world itself. I am the forgiving love of the Christ, which sets me free forever. I am free, 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 free by the power of love, by the power of light, by the power of light. And for this, we do give thanks. In the name of the indwelling Christ, the freeing self, thank you. It is done.